Before we get into our conversation, Benny, I should just point out that we've had an email from Airbus just in the last few minutes that says the proposed US tariffs only add to trade tensions. Retaliation levels are up to the WTO, not the USTR or Boeing. I mean, this is just the latest salvo, I suppose, in a very long-running dispute across the Atlantic in terms of the levels of support that are given to Airbus and Boeing. Both sides of the Atlantic angered by what they see on the other side.
Yes, you're absolutely right, and pointing out this is long simmering. I think it's been going on for about 15 years now, and at the heart of it is what these companies get in terms of government aid to launch their aircraft. There is no question that there are subsidies involved. In case of Airbus, for instance, it's called launch aid, whereby the countries that are involved, like Germany, France, the UK, make payments up front and then get them back over the lifespan of an aircraft. The same is the case in the US with Boeing. So that's beyond dispute. The question really is, how does that in some ways hurt the other company? In Boeing's case, there is that number out there that annually it has a damaging effect to the tune of about 11 billion. So the WTO has been looking at this for many years, and they found faults on both sides, and they're now sort of in an arbitration process trying to establish what kind of damages exist and what kind of payments might need to flow one way or the other. And into this, we're now seeing the US sort of inject themselves with these fresh demands, and we now see these numbers come out on fresh products, which have really nothing to do with aircraft as such. As you pointed out, it's olive oil and metal pipes and whiskey and so on, so quite far away from the actual aircraft business.
And it's interesting to see that the WTO is playing a role here, in contrast perhaps to some of the other fallouts that we see between the US and China, for example, where the US is choosing to go its own way and not engaging with the WTO at all. So I guess from that perspective, there is a path that these disputes are moving along.
Yes, you're absolutely right. So this is the WTO that sort of had the jurisdiction over this, and it's the White House trying to inject itself into this. And Airbus's comments that you just read out very much speak to this sort of conciliatory note, saying, look, there's no point trying to escalate this. We're on a path trying to resolve this, and these kinds of back and forths don't help.